Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Ready to Love Season 7, Episode 2. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, y'all, let's get into it if we're going to get into it. When the episode first opens up, the singles meet up for a lunch mixer. Same format, different season. Y'all know how they like to do. So we're seeing a little bit of everybody. Corvea and DeMario, they're vibing. Blake comes in being Blake. Mercedes is telling Blake that the ladies misunderstood him. He's got the juice. Ma'am, what are you saying? Girl, what? Didn't you feel a way about him as well? What juice does he have? Child, probably that mimosa, honey, because he ain't got no juice over here. Moving forward. So Marcia is sitting amongst some men, and she's talking about how she loves monkeys, but only on Instagram. Girl, what in the Wizard of Oz flying monkeys is going on here? Marcia crazy. I actually like Marcia. She's one of my favorite women. I don't know. It's just something about her vibe that I just like. Marcia is a mess, girl. Not you sitting amongst these men talking about you like monkeys, child. So Tommy comes out. Y'all give Tommy a round of applause. So y'all know Tommy always has something up his sleeve. So he tells them that he has 4 more singles to be added to the group. So he brings out Cynthia and Janique. And baby, when I tell you Cynthia is a baddie, okay, Joe is a baddie as well. So then he brings in these 2 men, Fabrice and Mark Anthony. Child, he could have kept them. I was looking like, what is this little belt, honey? Oh, child, it's just too much. This week, the men have the power to eliminate. So Z was saying in the confessional, she's really nervous after being up for elimination. The men feel like she needs to open up a little bit more. So it's just making, her nervous system bad. Over on the other side, Mercedes is talking to Lyndon, and she was like, that man name sounds like Febreze. Girl, it definitely does. It definitely does. Because I'm not going to lie to y'all. If I would not have put on my caption, I would have never known that he said Febreze. I was like, not Febreze, honey. As in the spray that eliminates odors in fabrics for up to 24 hours. Child, not Febreze. Shout out to Febreze. Moving forward. So baby Andre was excited about Cynthia and that green. Do you hear me? And Jeffrey was not feeling it. She was like, oh, okay. So we get introduced to Janique. Janique is 30. She's a software distro co-owner. And Janique got some baby hairs going on. Honey, she got some baby hairs on her. Baby, them baby hairs was too much, honey. Ooh, child. She's very pretty, though. She says she's a lot to handle. And she makes her own money. She calls her own shots. And some men are intimidated. But, baby, if you're intimidated, then you are not the man for her. Honey, I know that's right. But don't boss them too much now, Joe. Okay? Because when you got your own, and you can give your own, and you can call your own shots, some of these alpha males get a little bit upset and a little bit intimidated. Child, if I hear alpha male one more time, I'ma scream. Anywho, Corvea is over there talking to Mark Anthony. He's one of the new additions. He's 34 years old, and he's studying to be a pilot. He said he's not a player. I don't want to be a player no more. I'm not a player. I just crush a lot. So he said he ain't a player no more, child, because he is not 24. He is 34, and he's ready to take somebody seriously. So they sit down, right? And she's talking to him. So she asked him if he spoils his women. He was like, yeah, about the spoiling. I feel like that's earned. She's like, why can't you just feel like I should be spoiled? Why do I have to earn it? So in the confessional, he was like, I didn't like it. That it was a few red flags. It felt a little gold diggerish. I don't think her wanting to be spoiled was gold diggerish. Well, maybe that's just me. I don't think so. I don't understand why we have to do so much to be taken care of. But then when you go to other races, y'all know exactly how to treat them. Honey, they ain't got to earn nothing. All they got to do is show up as themselves. But for a black woman, all of a sudden it's like, you got to earn it. Now, I'm not trying to take it there, but it's just crazy to me why we always got to work for something. Why can't things just be given to us? This is a fool. And he said it was gold diggerish. Maybe it's the way that Corvea says things. But y'all, these men don't want to do nothing, child. Moving forward. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Z is making her rounds, trying to turn into the person that she thinks they wanted to see. This is what trips me out. Every time there's a lady up for elimination or a man, they make the mistake of coming back trying to figure out why they were up for elimination. She going to everybody asking, why did you guys say this and why do you guys feel that? Don't worry about that. Take it in stride and show them why they misjudged you and why you are ready to love, because asking them is not going to change their opinion of you. And everybody's noticing that she isn't being herself. She's real, standoffish. She's more guarded. She's really in her head. That's what's going on. So Jeffrey and Andre, they go to still a little alone time, right? He's like, yeah, you just need to know that when I'm with you, I'm giving you my undivided attention. You get my one-on-one time. Baby, that's until Cynthia sashayed over there. Okay. Baby, Cynthia said, can I join you guys? Baby, Cynthia took all that body over there. All right, Cynthia is 37. She has 2 kids. She's a consulting firm CEO. So she goes over to talk to Andre, and baby, what she do that for? Baby, Jeffrey was pissed. Now I'm going to tell you like this. I can't get past his house, so I wouldn't talk to him. But maybe that's just me. So Jeffrey gets in her feelings in the confessional. She's like, ooh, the girls are thirsty. Ma'am, it's a mixer. Everybody is supposed to mix and mingle. That sounded a little haterish to me. Okay, it sounded like some hateration in this dancery. Because I'm just trying to figure out, why are you upset that she's talking to him? That is a ready to love formula, honey. You go over and you ask if you can join, because you have to get to know everybody, especially with the women being up for elimination. Girl, goodbye. Then they pan the camera over to Blake. He's over there acting too good to talk to people, child. Sue Ann is trying to get his attention, honey. She's like, I like you. Sue Ann is like, I see you. You got the guns out. Here you go. I don't know what to do with you, but I like it though. She's like, I hope something good. He's like, well, that's the plan. That's the hope. Okay. And again, this is my opinion. Okay. That's why it's called Misha IMO. Is it just me, or he didn't seem interested? I don't know. The conversation gave awkward. His body language was completely off. When you're engaged with someone, you're not facing forward and they're leaning into you. Turn around and engage with the beautiful woman across from you. It gave absolutely nothing for me. And I think Blake relies on his dimples to get by. Honey, he a snooze fest. Moving forward. So then they pan over to Fabrice. Okay, not to be confused with Febreze. Oh, child, I'm so childish. And he's talking to Cynthia, and he's like, yeah, I'm a good cook. Fabrice is 44. He's a fashion designer. 44. Ready to love. Listen to me. Production team, listen to me. You people are creating ages so that these people can come on this show. That man is a good 55, 57. That man is not no 44. You are not going to make me believe that me and Fabrice could have possibly went to high school together. If I was just 1 year older, you mean to tell me that me and this man could have gone to high school together? He is 4 years older than I am. Child, that's a line of truth, ain't it? Anywho, he's making his rounds, but he just creeps me out for some reason. And he creeps me out just a little. He gives me creepy old man. He is just not my cup of tea. But honey, I'm not on the show, and that's why I'm not ready to love. And I mean, he's talking to Jeffrey, coming on all strong, child. He said in his confessional, he feels like sex is important because if it's not good, then that's a problem. Now, that's true. Sex is important in a relationship. And if it ain't good, then, child, I mean, what we gonna do? But it's like he leads with sex. That's all he knows. So they start talking about tattoos. And he's like, well, hopefully you'll get to see it one day. Ew. Okay? Ew. And she's like, well, you know what? I mean, he's a bit much, but if you can mind me, then, I mean, you got me. Jeffrey, please don't tell him that, because they will have your mind all effed up for real. Nah, we ain't doing no mind. Okay, we're not doing that, because then they figure out all the right things to say, and then you fall for the trap, and now you're manipulated into some bullshit. Okay, so we're not going to do that. So the mixer is over and everybody's leaving and whatnot. In the next scene, all the guys go for dinner with Cynthia. All the guys except the 2 new guys. I think Fabrice and Mark Anthony, they were not present. So Cynthia shows up for dinner with the men. Baby, when I tell you those colors on Cynthia's skin is everything, everything. Baby, she came in with the green when she was first introduced. She's sitting down at the dinner with this yellow on, and baby, up against that melanin, baby is doing what's supposed to be done. Do you hear me? So Tony jumped right into it. So he asked her what her type was, and she was like, everybody's my type. Like, I don't have no type. I ain't got no type. Honey, she said she ain't got no type. Men is just what she like, honey. It doesn't matter. She feels like at this age, everybody is her type, and she needs to get to know them, and she can't just go off looks. But then she turns around and says, but, I like men that smell good, look good, tall, carries himself well-groomed, has his own house, has his own car. Ma'am, that's a type. Like, girl, what? Say what now? She's like, I can't just go off looks, but I want him to be tall, good-looking, well-groomed, and carry himself well. Those are his looks. And you eliminated some of these men at this table, honey. And when they panned over and looked at Blue, I said, baby, not you eliminating Blue on the slick. Production so messy. Moving forward. So Andre's like, well, do you like light skin, dark skin? She said, I like all skin. He said, you like blue eyes? Andre, the nice eyes got you a little insecure, huh? Because why you asking about people's eyes, honey? Why don't you worry about you and your tendril? Don't worry about everybody else. So then Joe shows up. Hey, girl, I see you got the baby hairs in tow. And she's upset because Cynthia was already there. She's like, yeah, I just wish I was the only one here so I could get to know the men on a deeper level. Like they're already vibing. I don't like that. Why do y'all think nobody else is supposed to interact with the men except you? Both of y'all are just now coming in. She has to interact with them just like you do. So Anthony is playing around and he's like, this girl right here wants to know what's your type. He's speaking to Joe. So Joe said, well, I kind of like them taller, dark skinned, huskier. Now, when she was describing it, all I could think about was Ricky Rose. All I thought about was Rick Ross. I was like, girl, not the Rick Ross of it all. But I could be wrong, but that seems like the type of man she was describing. But she said she likes all types. So Andre asked her, well, would you date an ugly man? She said, I dated men other people thought were ugly, but they weren't ugly to me. Listen, I know that's right, girl. Sometimes your taste is not everybody else's taste. I like that. Honey, if you like it, I love it. Joe seems like a really cool person to hang out with. And she gonna speak her speech, honey, that's for sure. She seems like somebody that would be fun to hang out with. And she said, look, my man ain't gotta look good to nobody but me. I don't want them looking at my man no way. Well, let me just break the news to you, honey. They go for them too, sis. Because if they see a baddie like you attached to him and he ain't hardly looking like nothing, they wondering like, what's so special about him that she likes him? So since she like him, then I gotta like him. Trust me, I know from experience. Okay? I'm just saying. Moving forward. That's just a side note. So Andre asked if they could be with an alpha male. Oh, child, here we go. So Cynthia said, yeah, I could be with an alpha male. I'm very submissive. Listen, the whole submission talk is something that we can have all day and all night, but I got to make sure that you are worthy of that. I'm not blindly following anybody. Okay? I'm not just submitting to any old thing. But she says she understands, what her role is because she's always been the person to do everything. So if someone comes in and takes the burden off of her, she will gladly sit back. Okay? Because she knows, like, look, you go ahead and wear the boxers and I'll wear the panties. Now I understand her point of view as well. But for me, you got to prove to me that you can lead me because I'm just not submitting to any old thing, honey. So the date is over and some of the gentlemen walk Joe to her car. Okay, G-Wagon. White G-Wagon. Girl, you better get into it. And so Andre is walking Cynthia to her car. And she said, yeah, he really knows what to say to get my heart on fire. Really? Okay. I guess I'm just shallow because I can't get past Andre and all those different hairstyles. Honey, it's giving half up, half down. It's a puff in the back with a bang. Not the bang. The bang. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Child, that bang. And then you got that little tendril. Child, it's just too much, honey. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. I just wouldn't be able to take anything that he's saying seriously. So I don't even brush that bang back. Once he brushed that tendril back, his face is handsome as all get out. But I do not know who told him to twist that one piece of hair ever so and strategically place it. I don't like it. In the next scene, Tony and Marcia, they go on a lunch date. I like those pants, Marcia. Okay, girl. Across town, Z and Blake are going out. Now, who authorized Blake to be a one-on-one date for Z? And Z, what is this little ensemble you are wearing? Child, it's a mess. So she sits down. So Blake is like, are you nervous? She's like, I'm like nervous sighted. Nervous sighted? Nervous and excited. Okay, girl. You could tell that she was nervous, but Z, just relax. Child, this ain't nobody but Blake, honey. He ain't talking about nothing. You aren't up for elimination right now, so relax. Because you gonna be if you don't relax. So Blake is like, well, who are you? She's like, well, I get along well with my mom. He said, no. What makes you you? Like, who are you? She said, well, I love to hula hoop and I love to laugh. It releases some chemicals. Z, hula hooping does not release the chemicals. You mean that it releases endorphins. That's what you mean. She said, I feel like I'm at an interview. Now, don't get me wrong. It was definitely given, tell us why we should hire you. Where do you see yourself with the company within 5 years? This is the thing about Blake. He is so ego driven, knowing that she's already nervous. Like he knows the men are in control. So I think he's using that to his advantage. Like he's just sitting back like, well, tell me about you. I'm going to see exactly who you are. Like I didn't like that. Back over with Marcia and Tony, she's telling Tony that she was a problem child. She got kicked out of 3 elementary schools. Girl, not 3. But she said that's where her compassion for people comes from, because when she sees troubled youth, she knows that they just need somebody to listen to them and be there for them. And I agree with that. Me being a former educator, some of those kids that constantly have attitudes and always got something going on, they need more attention. That's not when you turn your back on them and act like you don't see them. That's when you give them more of what they need. And they don't know what they need, but they know they're missing something. So I agree with her on that. And I thought that was sweet. And they get ready to eat. And he asked if he could pray over the food. So she's like, yes, honey, you better pray over this food. Bow your head. Amen. Okay. I love that he wanted to pray over the food. But Tony got something to him. It's something to him. And I see behind his eyes. Like the way that he was talking at that table to Lyndon about Morgan in that little snippet that we saw. I don't know. I got my good eye on him. You know, I mean, him and Marcia seem to have a little vibe going, and they could potentially be something. But Marcia just seems like a fun girl who gravitates to anybody she's in a room with. So I'm just not sold on the two of them just yet. And I'm definitely not sold on Tony. I'm watching you. Moving forward. Back over with Blake and Z. He's still over there trying to see if she wants to come on board and what her salary requirements are. Because I'm just like, what is this? So he's like, I mean, I know it seems like I'm interrogating her, but I want to know more about her. And I mean, she wasn't giving me anything. Sir, just because y'all have the power doesn't mean you should just nail her with 100 questions. You can still be a little warm. Can she know anything about you, or it's just you getting to know her? I wouldn't open up to you either, because this seems stale. It's like you just want to sit down and interrogate me to see if I'm good enough to continue on. No, that ain't gonna work, honey. However, I don't think Z is right for this format. I don't think that she is. It's awkward, and I just don't think that this is her zhuzh. Okay? So it's time for a group date. Okay. Z. I don't really want to be too much on you because you already had so much going on in this episode, honey, but I'm convinced that you are not the best dresser because, honey, it was a little satin top and it was some cowboy boots. I don't know. It was a lot going on. Okay? So now the women are meeting with Fabrice and Mark Anthony. Fabrice, not you in this little snowflake piece of chain. Fabrice had on this little piece of chain, child. So Z starts asking them if they've ever dated outside of their race. And Mark Anthony said, yeah, I mean, I've dated all types of women, but I prefer black women. If you bring me a menu and I order from it, I might order, you know, this, that, and this and that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to want the special. And that will be a black woman. Oh, okay. We see it. So Fabrice is like, yeah, I've dated women all over the world in different countries, because he used to work for Giorgio Armani in Paris. And he's like, yeah. And also it's extremely sexual there, and they have a lot of sex. All he talks about is sex. Do you have anything else to offer? Like anything? He said, yeah, I do that to shock the women, to get them to open up, to see what they're hiding. Nah, that ain't why you doing it. You doing that because you ain't nothing but a hound dog, a horny old man, and you just want a young tender to hunch on top of. Boogabye. Moving forward. So then Sue Ann starts to speak, and she said when she was younger, she thought she was dipping in and doing it for real, but as she gets older, she wants to have sex more because she actually knows what she's doing. And so I'm guessing that means that now she's really enjoying it. And she was like in her confessional, yeah, Fabrice is giving international zaddy vibes, and I would like to get to know him. And child, you heard Paris, and all of a sudden he's zaddy. Okay, girl. Anywho, so Mercedes asks Fabrice, what is he immediately attracted to? Like when you see someone, what do you go for? And he said, well, I mean, it's a bunch of things. It's not just one thing, not one thing that can tickle my pickle. And again, not tickle his pickle. I'm about to throw up. Do you hear me, honey? I'm about to upchuck. So he speaks a little French, honey. And baby Mercedes ate that right on up. She was like, I mean, him knowing French, that's so sexy. Like anybody who can speak another language, that piques my interest. Child, I don't know. I guess I'm alone, y'all. What are they seeing? Is it editing or is this the PO effect? Because let me tell you what I mean by that. PO was very cringy, talking about he delivering all that. PO was not my cup of tea until he got to the end and he grew on me. I don't know if this is what's going on with Fabrice, but I don't think so. He skeeves me out. P.O. wasn't that cringy. He didn't just go around talking to women about sex. But I don't know. Maybe it's the P.O. effect. Maybe it's not. But something about him, I'm just not seeing what they see. He's like, yeah, and also there has to be a connection. And of course she has to be sexual. See, here you go again. Marcia's like, why does he keep bringing up sex? It's weird at your big grown age, honey. Yes, it is, honey. Weird and creepy. So then Anthony starts telling the ladies that he's studying to be a pilot. And as I was looking at him when he was talking, in this setting, he is very handsome. Like, I didn't see it at first when he was first introduced, but he is a very handsome young man. So Mercedes is like, oh, I like that. She liked it because she's a flight attendant and he's going to be a pilot. That would be cute. Oh, they could fly the friendly skies together. That's cute. I don't know, though. I don't like that he doesn't feel like a woman should be spoiled unless they earn it. Okay, let me guess. 50-50 as well. Y'all ain't got time to play. In the next scene, all the men go to the gentleman's lounge. Mark Anthony said it was a church with liquor all over it. Not y'all playing in this church house. Who approved this? Not y'all got all these liquor bottles in the Lord's house. I'm not about to play with you, Tommy. So they all come in and sit down. And Tommy gave a disclaimer. He said, listen, what happens in the gentleman's lounge stays in the gentleman's lounge. Don't be calling, caking on the phone, telling them who said what and who getting eliminated. Because he already know they do that every single season. Keep it in here with the men. Okay? Tommy was basically like, honey, I'm going to let y'all know because y'all do that every single season. So Tommy asked how Fabrice and Mark Anthony's dates went. Child, we know old creepy Fabrice liked it, child. So then he asked about the ladies going out with the men. And they said that they had a good time with the women. And Fabrice was like, I loved my date. I wish they could all be like that. You surrounded by beautiful women. We know. Give me one of your little freaky fantasies you want to record, child. You ain't fooling me. So then Tommy asked about who they liked. And Andre said Mercedes. Mark Anthony said her as well. He can understand her schedule. Lyndon said Morgan. Fabrice said Morgan as well. And so then it was Tony's turn. He's like, Tommy, I got a little bit of a dilemma. Okay. At first it was Morgan, but now, Marcia is creeping up. So I just don't know. I got a little bit of a dilemma. So Blake said Sue Ann. Blake, you were barely engaged when she was talking. Blue said Jeffrey. Andre said Jeffrey as well. He's like, she's a wife. But my favorite color is now green because that's what Cynthia had on. So now it's like Jeffrey and Cynthia. Child, don't let Jeffrey hear that. She gonna be upset. So then he asked about their least favorite. Lyndon, of course, said Corvea. He's like, yeah, she was saying something about people living alone. She seems really combative. I didn't like that. How does she seem combative? Because she wants you to have your own place? In that setting, she was not being combative. Like, I didn't understand it. I'm like, so you're mad because she doesn't want you to have a roommate. A few people said Z. Fabrice said Jeffrey. He said she's too conservative. That's code for she doesn't want to hear me talk about sex, so I ain't feeling her. Mark Anthony said Joe. Sir, you just got here. And so did she. Give my girl a chance. Honey, she ain't did nothing to nobody. So Blake said he said she wasn't open to their conversation and he felt like he had to interrogate her to get her to open up. So Tommy said, well, do you think she enjoyed you? He said, probably not. Exactly. You aren't enjoyable either. Tommy already knew what time it was. Tommy said, listen, did she like you? Honey, and didn't. So then Tommy throws this curveball after they get through saying who they like and who they didn't like. They are getting their own Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type lifeline. It's called the Second Chance Lifeline. So this is how it's going down. You can give one of the ladies a second chance. Nobody leaves that week if you give out the lifeline. But the first catch is it has to be unanimous. Okay, everybody has to agree. And also, you can only use it once in the entire process. So all the men are like, man, that's a tough decision. Like, really? So now they have to decide who's going to go home. So it's time for the eliminate. So Lyndon and Corvea, they're meeting up. Child, he playing in this woman's face, talking about, we're hot commodities, both of us. And she already knowing, like, why would they set me up with Lyndon? She went in knowing that something wasn't right because he has a roommate, honey. He's sleeping head to foot, so we ain't gonna be able to do it. So Z is going for another date with Blake. Okay, Z, you should have known someone right. When they put you right back on that second interview, it's like she went on the first interview, she went on the second interview, and then later on, we're going to see what happens and if she gets the job. So Lyndon over there with Corvea, he brings up him living alone yet again. And she's like, well, I mean, that's just what I prefer. In the confessional, she was like, if you can't afford me, just say that. Okay, so see, Corvea, it's like, I understand what you mean when you say you want your man to have his own space, but you can't be saying, if you can't afford me, just say that, because that does sound gold diggerish. Like, that does sound like, okay, I'm going to need you to lead with your wallet. That's what it's giving. Back over with Blake and Z, they're like watching paint dry. Child, just put her out of her misery already. If she going, then she going. Back over with Lyndon, he's making Corvea sweat, honey, because she says she don't want to see his roommate. But he did tell her that he had her in the bottom, which I really respected, the fact that he was honest and told her that she was in his bottom. But she's still ready to love. So then he tells her he feels like she needs to state what she wants by saying, I would like, instead of this is what I want. No. It's nothing wrong with stating it plain, what you are requiring. Like, just state what you like so nobody wastes their time. Now, Corvea could be a little bit less condescending when she says it, okay? Because she can be a little rude with it, though. Like, you don't have to put the men down if they aren't on your level. Just move on, honey. Moving forward. But I ain't like the fact that he told her she needs to say it this way. Why do we have to stroke your ego for you to feel good about yourself? She doesn't want a man that lives with someone else. There's nothing wrong with it. Is that too much to ask for? Maybe I'm crazy, child. Back over with Blake, he tells Z she isn't ready to love. And she took it very well. Okay, she did. But then production asks Z, well, what do you want people to remember you by? This lady goes, my name is Z, and I'm from Jersey, and all I want to know is what's next. Girl gone. Girl gone, honey. That's why you were asked to leave, ma'am. That was crazy, honey. That was weird, honey. It was giving very much a little weirdo. Z just wanted to be singing in the background. Z, if you don't go on, honey, now I love to drop a good tune as much as anybody else, but why would you sing in this moment? Yeah, Z wasn't right for this process, but it's probably for the best, honey, because it's slim pickings in my opinion. And that was the end of the episode. Child, this is a mess. I have to say this. I am enjoying this Miami cast better than the previous season. I really am. I want to see how things are going to unfold. I want to see the personalities develop. I want to see what they're going to get into as they get into. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.